Good evening. Let me turn this volume down a smidge. Wow, been a pretty crazy day in the news. Early off this morning, I had quite a few headlines I had to sift through, and then throughout the day, it was a pretty good barrage the entire day. So it finally kind of let up. Well, I've got another one there now. It kind of let up more towards the evening. Wasn't nearly as bad as what it had been throughout the day, but wow, it was certainly insane. So a couple of things before we get started. First off, I'm gonna do my very best not to leave you confused. I'm gonna do my best. I will say this, as with much of everything in life. Discernment is key. Discernment is key. I want to make note of a couple of things before we get started, though. One of them has to do with a video that a channel Prepper Dog did today. He did a video titled a premonition ? Secure an alternative heat source. Prepare. This is something that's been on my mind very heavily, and I've expressed that on the show before. So I think I'm going to spend some more time tomorrow, and tomorrow's show, I think that's what I want to spend some time talking about, and once again, talk about what my plans are. And, I mean, we all have our own situations, our own individual situations. If you're in a situation where you can use wood heat, you're good to go, you know. We're limited in options, and so, anyway, I think it would probably be a good idea. Something's just eating at me, and has been eating at me for some time about this winter and being able to stay warm. So eating at me enough that because of some of the website services that I do, got a payment today. I actually, another item, I'd been talking about these items, right, that have been on my Amazon wish list for years. Yeah, I've had a sleeping bag that's been on my Amazon wish list for probably 3 years. I'm almost willing to bet 3 years, and so they're not super expensive. They're like $45 plus tax, and so I picked one up. I'll see what it's like. I'll let you know. I've got to get another one, so because we'll need to have two of them. But I figured I had the opportunity. I'm gonna jump on it to get one, check it out. I have a feeling it's gonna be exactly what I expect. And then pick up another one when we can. So got that. Another thing, I'm going to be discussing tonight. There's a lot of fear mongering going on, and I want to discuss that a little bit. Because here's the thing, and this is where it gets a little confusing. We do have a lot to be concerned about. We have a whole lot to be concerned about. But what is concerning me, no jokes intended there, is that there are some distractions that are being thrown the preppers groups, communities way, if you will. And don't take your eye off the ball. Don't take your eye off the ball. One of them that I've just briefly started hearing about is the CME that's incoming. Look, I've said this I don't know how many times before, and I'll continue to say it. Suspicious observers. Follow his channel. Plain and simple. If Ben Davidson tells you to run for the hills, you damn well run for the hills. Until he says run for the hills, don't worry about a CME. I'm just saying, that dude will let you know. If he can, he will let you know. Why do I say if he can? Well, here's the thing. If we were to have a major burst towards Earth, there's, two main blasts of energy that goes out. One of them reaches the Earth in like no time. I can't remember, and I know it depends on the strength and but it's no time. It's like boom. It's like almost, I think, the speed of light, if not, right up in there. The second wave is the actual CME, the coronal mass ejection. But that first wave can wipe out our electronics by itself. That first wave would be more like an EMP, because it would just be a quick bam. Now it might not burn up all the electrical wires and all that on the poles and stuff like that. The CME would. But that initial blast most likely wouldn't. But it would likely screw up electronics, sensitive electronics. Anyway, there's talk about concern over this double CME that's coming our way. Again, until you hear Ben Davison of Suspicious Observers say run for the hills, don't sweat it. And also remember that he may not be able to tell you to run for the hills. So keep that in mind. But I think you'll know. I have a pretty good idea. You'll know something's afoot when all of your electronic gadgets no longer function. Anyway, I don't think you'll need Ben to tell you that something's wrong. So, we got to be careful with the distractions and stuff like that. On the other hand, we have to be realistic with what's going on. And, there's this old saying, taking one for the team. I'm sorry, I have to kind of laugh when I say this, because I feel like Bear Independent is taking one for the team. I have to say it with humor. What else am I going to do? Cry? I implore you to keep, if you're not on Bear's Patreon, keep a close eye out for Bear. I don't know when he's going to release it on YouTube, but there is a video coming out on YouTube, and I know he had already made a video talking about this video. Trying to remember the name of the video. Hang on. Give me a second. Sweet Smelling Roses is going to be the name of the video that comes out. It's going to be the name of the video that comes out on YouTube. So now those that are on his Patreon have already had the ability to see this content. I have a feeling that he's probably going to catch a vacation once he sets that video to public. I'm shocked that he hadn't already caught a vacation, being that it's there and unlisted. But it's an incredibly relevant video. If you need to fear something, because it seems like some people have a desire to fear, please fear reality, because fearing the stuff that in some cases these other channels sow your way, not necessarily to distract you, to mislead you, a lot of it, I'm telling you, is for monetary gain. Some of it is for recognition. It is what it is. But there is truth out there. You have to dig deep. Bear is going to talk about some of that truth in his video for as long as it stays standing. And I mean it when I say that he's taking one for the team. He is certainly taking one for the team. I know he put out another video giving the link to his backup channel, and he mentioned his Rumble. I don't know how long this video is going to stay up. I would assume that he's probably going to put it. I mean, it's that. I feel it's that important for me to go into detail here. I don't know if he's going to put it up on his Rumble, if it gets wiped off of YouTube or not. I could only assume so. But I have a copy because Yeshua saves. Amen. And so I have a copy of it. And, I'm sure he's got a couple of dozen. Just in case. It's a really good video. But if I don't see it pop up on Rumble or something, I don't know. I'll do what I can to make sure folks have the ability. I don't know why. It would be a weird situation, I think, for people to watch us and not Bear. So, but anyway, I'll make sure people have links or whatever is needed. So, anyway, man, let me, hang on a second. So anyway, more to the point, there was other content coming out that I noted specifically today, and it needs to simmer down. Simmer down now, for those that remember, because they give the impression, and I'm not trying to yank anybody off their cloud or whatever, but they're trying to give everybody the impression that they need to walk around everywhere with a bulletproof vest on. If you live somewhere where that's your reality right now, and I'm not saying that there's nowhere that that's not a reality, because we only live about 30 minutes from St. Louis. That is damn well a reality for some places. However, not where we live, and most likely not where you live. And if it is a reality where you live, you need to move. And I'm not saying that to be an ass. I'm saying that because it's realistic. We should not be at a point in this country right now that most of us in most places should need to be wearing body armor or tucking body armor into our child's backpacks. Okay, if you are in that situation right now in this country, you need to get the hell out of where you're at. Because when things do really go south in this country, because they haven't really started yet, when things do go south in this country, they ain't gonna stand a chance, vest or not. Plain and simple. I'm not knocking vests in any way, shape, or form. But, they're typically not rated for getting hit 8 times consecutively. I want you to think about that. Right? What I'm saying is they're not really ballistically rated to to survive, say, 8 hits. Bam, 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 bam. It ain't gonna happen. So let's be realistic. Let's not be where stuff like that is going to be more likely. That's kind of some of the fear-mongering that I was referring to, especially. this ideal that we're already in dire straits as far as everything. And let me tell you, I think that we are getting there, but I think we're gonna have a lot more serious things pop up before then. I think that I think before we see too many serious woes, and when I say that, I mean actual inabilities to get food or the things we need. I think that I think that I think some other major things are going to happen before that, before we see that. I'm looking over in the chat there. Sorry for for the dead air. I was just catching up on chat. Yeah, that's crazy, Steve. Let me have a sip of coffee here. However, back to the realistic things that we need to be concerned about. I will once again point very, very heavily in the direction of Bear Independent and his video that I aforementioned. Sweet Smelling Roses. I don't see it yet out on YouTube. Again, if you're a Patreon member of his, you've already got access to it. He has explicitly asked his patrons not to share the link, and so I won't be sharing the link. But keep an eye on his channel, ring the little bell thingy, and when you get the email, even if it's during my show, let me make that very clear. If you get that email during my show, you go and watch his video immediately, because I don't think it's going to be up long. So, it's really that important, and I think it really lays it out. I think it spells it out. I'm trying not to put myself in jeopardy. Again, I mean it when I say that he's clearly taking one for the team. And I say that in jest. So, again, what can we do? We can cry about it. We can, I choose not to cry about it. I choose to take a realistic approach and try to come up with solutions, And the reality of the situation is, I can't control the macro. All I can do is do my best to take care of the micro, and build out from there. And so that's what I'm doing. Trying to put together as much as I can before we run out of time and the ability to fund putting stuff together before things deteriorate to the point where we can't do anymore. We're getting there, trying. Just it is what it is. So that's why we monetize the channel, because that's kind of a works out. If we get stuff for if we use revenue to get stuff for the show, say for like review stuff or whatever, then we've got that stuff to utilize as well. So it kind of works out both ways. However, early on, I may be getting a mixer for the desk here, for the mic, because this voice meter, I don't know what the deal is, Maybe my mic's going to hell too. I don't know, but I don't like the sound at all that's coming out, and it's not what it was. So I want to go back to a physical mixer for obvious reasons, and then I definitely want to get a new mic too. So actually thinking about getting something more like a Rode Wireless or something instead of this, but still running it through a mixing board, so it's a much clearer audio versus voice meter. So anyway, just kind of the plans for the future. Let me look over and catch up real quick on chat. I suck at being able to read chat and let's see. No, Steve, I just, he did a really good video. He just put it on, he just released it on Patreon. He's supposed to be releasing it, on YouTube. And I'm not going to say the words. I am not going to say the words. But I believe he's very accurate. And he's going to be putting it out on YouTube if they don't take it away before he gets a chance. So I'm sure we'll find out if they do. So sorry, I was over there looking. Anyway, my advice is try to do your best to differentiate between the fear mongering that's going on. Try to stay focused. You know what things are of concern in your life. Make sure that you make that the priority. Don't let other people to distract you from SHTFs that aren't yours. Okay? If you don't think you're looking at a big earthquake, don't let somebody concern you with a big earthquake. Okay? Be prepared to deal with a big earthquake. Be prepared to deal with as much as you possibly can. But focus on what you feel right is what you think's going on, because you know your situation best, and your situation could be different. You know, you could have hazards that I don't, or I could have hazards that you don't. I live about 30 miles or so away from 25 or so miles away from Scott Air Force Base, Military Airlift Command Center. So if countries ever did successfully start penetrating each other's borders with ICBMs, it was nice knowing you. But I don't know that it would come to that, or at least on that scale. That's a hazard not all of you have. Oh no, I'm fine, Steve, here on YouTube. I'm not, as far as I know, I'm not under threat. And in fact, I was actually going to talk about that a little bit. Because the reason I say, oops, I didn't mean to do that, by the way. Oh God, you guys can kick my ass if you want. I didn't know what that was. I clicked a button and I think it played an ad. I was actually going to talk to you about that. You guys can kick my ass for doing that. I was like, oh, what's that do? And I clicked it and it said something about ad played or ad displayed or something. I'm like, oh. Hang on a second. I was gonna show you something. Just because. So, we're not a big channel or anything like that. Not whatsoever. However, we've been around since 2014. And since then, I have done my absolute very best, and I'm not just trying to blow smoke up people's butts. I have been trying to do my very best to bring you the straight information, the honest information. Not only bring you that information, but maybe try to help come up with some solutions as to how we can mitigate the situation. It's what we've always been dedicated in doing. And I think that personally, and I don't think, I mean, of course I'm going to be biased, but I think we've been very successful in our mission. And as you have probably noticed over the course of the past week, close to week or so, I've been putting out roughly 3 videos every day, right around or before noon, and just report videos. And I hear a lot of channels crying about this, that, and the other thing when it comes to YouTube and how terrible, mean, and horrible YouTube is. And I'm not saying they're great. I'm not defending them in any way, shape, or form. But I am defending myself, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Now, we had applied for monetization. We had it once before. We voluntarily gave up monetization to prove a point. That's not what we were here for. We hadn't been monetized for, I don't know, like couple years, I guess, right? Not a couple hundred. I was going to say a couple hun. Not a couple hundred. Back in 19 and 4. No. No. We haven't been monetized for a couple of years now. So, I thought, well, we'll go ahead and bite the bullet. We'll remonetize if they even let us. Well, we've already been down that road. I'm not going to rehash all that. Long story short, we're back monetized, and I thought, well, this is going to go over like a fart in church. And to my surprise, with these videos that I've been putting out during the day, I've been doing my best to stick to the information that's in the article and keep as much of my opinion, my BS, out of it. Now, of course, I throw a little bit in there, but I think a little bit is okay. I think a little bit is okay. I think I'm onto something here. And the reason why I say that, and again, I'm not so much defending YouTube, but when I'm seeing this, something's either not right because, I mean, miracle is the only other answer to me. I mean, to me, all of this is a miracle. All of these videos that I've been putting out during the day, yeah. And the first limited monetization video goes all the way back to videos that I uploaded from the days that I was kicked off of YouTube. I was suspended or whatever. And these were from the backup channel. Everything that I posted has been accepted. Now, the interesting thing is I haven't been playing softball, have I? You go watch those videos, look at the titles, the topics. I haven't been playing softball. So why is it that I'm not being demonetized? Now, the live is a different story. I'm already limited. I'm limited right now. The live is a different story. Now, they did give me monetization for last night's show. But most of them, no. It's a no bueno. And I get that. Why? Why? Because, look, it's a lot of my BS, not information sticking to the data. I'm just saying, I think I might be on to something here. Other content creators can take from that what they will. Or not. But if you want to keep your stuff monetized, cut the bullshit. Seriously. I think I'm on to something there. So, because normally, I mean, I'm just being honest, before, I would have probably put a lot more of my own BS in there, okay? I'm not saying I'm any different than anybody else when it comes to that stuff. I would have probably put more of my own BS in there. But since I hadn't been, they've been letting it go. And I find that insane. So, anyway, I wanted to share that because, again, not here to fearmonger. I'm not here with some agenda. Okay, my agenda is to empower you to make your own decisions, not to make decisions for you. That's not news. That's propaganda. Now, my thoughts, my opinion, are certainly going to come out. No doubt. But I'm not one of those that believes in forcing it down somebody else's throat. Absolutely not. Like I say, be mindful when you're watching this content out there, because a lot of it anymore, it's not got the right intent behind the creation of it, and as a result, there's a lot of misinformation out there. There's a lot of just plain old profitization, That's what it seems like to me. So anyway, let me go ahead and do some headlines. Quite a few of them today. We'll get the hell out of here. Now relax, and then we got one more day for the week. And I haven't messed with any aircraft for the flight sim all week, and I just haven't. I'm gonna be honest, haven't been in the mood. With all this stuff going on, I mean, the amount of headlines that I've had coming in is pretty dramatic. I normally, I normally can get away with waiting until about 9:30ish to 10. And it would be 20, 25 headlines I'd have to sift through. Nah. 6 o'clock, I think it was this morning, I had 20 headlines sitting there. Got those cleared out. Turning around, there was another 11 or so there. And I mean, it was just on and on all throughout the morning. And it finally slowed up a little bit in the afternoon. But as I've been telling you about the frequency, the information, the news, the headlines, I've been on target with that. It has been increasing in both the amount and the content, essentially. So, I mean, we're going to be jumping off with one that I put out last night. I'm sure you've already heard it. You heard it yesterday, I'm sure. But it's telling. It's telling. So anyway, let's go ahead and hop on over and get that done and get out of here. This is from yesterday. I put it out last night. Pfizer sends COVID vaccine data for kids aged 5 to 11 to the FDA as Fauci hopes to start child vaccinations by the end of October. So I didn't share that on the show last night. I wanted to make sure that I got that headline shared on the show for informational purposes. ACLU chief forced to apologize. Oh, this is from that I put out today. ACLU chief forced to apologize for erasing women and female pronouns from Ruth Bader Ginsburg abortions quote and blames the digital team. S&P upgrades Russia's economic growth outlook for 2021. YouTube could face total ban in Russia if tech giant doesn't unblock RT's German language channels, Moscow's media regulator warns. Yeah, it's kind of a big battle with YouTube right now. With RT. Russia and China trade to reach record levels in 2021. It could have a different shape potentially. Musk mocks Bezos' phallic rocket after dismissing rival's complaint. I mean, it could have looked different. That's for sure. Japan's former FM Kishida set to become next prime minister after winning the ruling party vote. CNN denies Australians access to its Facebook pages, citing defamation risk after court says publishers responsible for comments. Turkey's Erdogan set for Sochi talks with Putin on Syria and Afghanistan after pledging closer ties with Russia to fight terrorism. That is a relationship to keep an eye on. And not because they enjoy mingling in the back room or anything like that, but I mean, S500s, anyone? European gas prices push above record $1,000 for second consecutive day. Fishing must not be held hostage. France is furious after UK dishes out just 12 fishing licenses to all small EU boats. Yeah, that sounds kind of crazy. Let's screw it out of fishing and submarines, I guess. Toxic gases feared on Spain's Canary Islands as lava from devastating eruption reaches Atlantic Ocean. This is crazy. Taliban demands U.S. respect Afghan airspace after alleged drone incursions. Yeah, so... I wonder if they're going to have the TAA or something like our FAA. Climate protesters arrested for gluing themselves to road despite previous threat of imprisonment. I mean, could have just opened up the traffic. That's horrible. Sorry. I have a dark humor. Let's see. New Zealand abandoned forcible removal of at-risk children after anger from Maori families. And I'm not sure what they mean by that. I didn't get a chance to read that. I don't know a whole lot about the Maori. I know that somebody somewhere, like a president or something, first Maori president or something like that, if I'm not mistaken, but I don't remember which country or anything else about it. But let's see. Best news in a long time. Edward Snowden hails Canadian resettlement of refugee family who sheltered him in Hong Kong. The Soyuz spacecraft successfully docks at new Russian-made Nauka module on International Space Station for the first time. British military personnel to drive petrol tankers within a few days amid fuel crisis frenzy. But you know, they weren't going to do it. They were just preparing to do it. So, but now they're going to do it. Australia to end emergency COVID income support as vaccine rates rise. 27 police women injured in clashes with abortion rights activists in Mexico City. Russia will take zero-tolerance approach to U.S. tech giant YouTube's censorship of RT's German-language channels, the Kremlin warns. They've really left us in a terrible position. American senator slams Biden as Pentagon reveals U.S. may use Russian bases in Asia. Backlash as students are told wearing secondhand clothes can be an example of white privilege in mandatory diversity course. Yeah, so apparently now secondhand clothes are an example of white privilege. I got nothing. Let's see. They have to follow U.S. orders. Chomsky says subservient Britain's involvement in U.S. persecution of Assange is scandalous. More than a third of coronavirus patients diagnosed with at least one long COVID symptom, says a study. United Airlines threatens to fire hundreds of staff for refusing COVID vaccine. CIA's chilling plans to abduct and kill Assange shows links U.S. will go to attack press freedom, says WikiLeaks editor-in-chief to RT. 68% of Germans want CDU's chancellor candidate, Laschet, to resign from all political posts after election loss, says a YouGov poll. Slovenia suspends Johnson & Johnson vaccine after young woman's death. Moscow's communists leave city parliament meeting in protest as party continues crusade against elections it believes were stolen. European court annuls EU-Morocco trade deals after challenge from Western Sahara secessionists. Berlin rejects Moscow's accusation of involvement in YouTube ban of RT's German-language channels. Highly hazardous pesticides discovered in dirty dozen list of UK fruit and vegetables, says analysis of government data. Finally, something the PM can help with. Post-COVID clown shortage hits North Ireland. Northern Ireland. It may have hit North Korea too. I don't know how the clown situation is going on there with Kim Jong-un. Might need to check in on that. Make sure he's got plenty of clowns. Because, that would suck if there's not enough. Belgium pledges 10,000 euros to fund abortions abroad for women in Poland unable to access terminations after near total ban. Putin brought attractive brunette translator with a wonderful figure to distract Trump at the G20, claims former White House aide. I guess in a memoir. Nah. Nothing burger. Jordan fully reopens main border crossing with Syria, expects trade to begin recovering after war and sanctions. Texas nurse goes on trial for capital murder after allegedly intentionally injecting air into patient's arteries. Let's see. Worrying time. 233,000 customers affected after 3 more UK energy suppliers collapse amid gas price crunch. This is another serious issue going on over there across the pond. This is an issue that we need to be concerned with. And this is an issue that I really think, we want to be prepared for this winter. And I'm going to say it again, and I urge you to go watch Prepper Dog's video. Be prepared. Have an alternative heat source. We're going to talk about it tomorrow night. on the show a little bit more. Man, I'm telling you, I think it's a real good idea. Because even if, let's say you've got a propane, let's say you're not, you're not all electric. Let's say you've got a propane. You still got to power that furnace. You've got a way to power that furnace. Then I have to ask you for how long. Okay, and if long enough is your answer, sweet, you're good to go. If it's not, you need to find an alternative way. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. So that's something that I'm going to be hot and heavy on, no pun intended, is alternative heat. I really like this idea of that diesel truck heater. I really like that idea. It's probably the route I'll go. So anyway, we'll talk more about that tomorrow. YouTube bans all anti-vax videos, ramping up COVID-era censorship campaign. Amazon's privacy nightmare Astrobot will fling itself downstairs and be useless for security, developers reportedly claim. NBA stars Irving and Wiggins set to lose over $15 million each after league says unvaxxed players won't be paid if they miss matches. Saudi Arabia and Iran may reestablish relations after a series of discreet meetings, says reports. YouTube hammered for persuasive and institutionalized censorship after booting anti-vaxxers off of the platform. Foreign fans banned from Beijing 2022 Olympics, unvaccinated athletes to face 21-day quarantine, says organizers. Frustrated Pelosi lashes out at the media and promises debt ceiling vote despite opposition. Let's see. No sane person believes in freedom of speech in the West, RT editor-in-chief says as YouTube censors German language channels. They're really throwing a fit about it if you couldn't tell. Let's see. And rightfully so. I mean, Putin and Erdogan are all smiles in Sochi, but leave summit without press conference. The Biden administration may fire Border Patrol agents who haven't gotten COVID-19 jabs, a whistleblower claims. A massive tornado sweeps through German town, injuring 7. At least 30 killed, some beheaded in Ecuador prison gang war. Unequivocally, no, Fauci says he will never reach a point where he resigns over COVID-19 controversies. Kind of telling. UK cop convicted of raping and murdering Sarah Everard used COVID-19 rules for abduction and tried to blame Eastern European gang. Well. Manufacturers allowed baby food contaminated with heavy metals to remain on the shelves, lawmakers say. 20 KC-135s were, hang on here, because I can't see it all. I thought this was pretty crazy. 20 KC-135s were rapidly launched out of Fairchild Air Force Base this morning. It was an exercise they did. I must say it was a very, very interesting exercise they did. The link is in our Twitter, so if you want to check this out, and where they go into much more detail about what the aircraft did, and I must say that was a very interesting maneuver. Might be something you might want to go check out. Just saying. CDC issues urgent advisory calling on pregnant people to take COVID jabs, citing spike in deaths and pregnancy complications. Olympics gold medalist pleads guilty to felony obstruction charge stemming from his role in U.S. Capitol riot. Security and health protocols. 117 Americans and residents, including children, left stranded after Kabul evacuation. And there you go. That's the headlines. Fun times, isn't it? Definitely fun times. I mean, might even go swimming tomorrow. Oh, wait. I don't got anywhere to go swimming. Oh, well. Anyway, guess I won't. Telling you, it's messed up. Don't let channels fearmonger you, especially over things that aren't an imminent concern to you, you know? Make sure you can take care of the basics. That's the important thing, right? Make sure you've got food to eat. Make sure that you can defend yourself. Make sure that you've got your basics covered. Don't let people fearmonger you. Yes, we need to be concerned. Very much so. I want to remind once again, watch out for that video to come out from Bear Independent. I will refresh my subscriptions real quick and see if I see it. I do not see it. Keep an eye out for his video and watch it as quick as you can once he releases it. So, anyway, with that, I am out of here. Tomorrow we'll talk heat, and God willing, we'll be here, and hopefully we'll see you there. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.